Hello there guys, listening to Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review. So today we're going to be talking about those star-crossed lovers, Stephanie and Ryan. And so last time we saw this couple, we discovered that Stephanie is a cheat. We also discovered that Ryan is a liar and a cheat. And we also discovered that Ryan's family are a bunch of grifters. And by the end of this week's episode, it's going to become really clear to Stephanie that she needs to stop buying watches and start watching what she buys. And as usual, before we begin, please, if you haven't done so already, press that red subscribe button and subscribe to my channel for regular videos. And make sure you press the notification bell if you don't want to miss a video. And so we first see Stephanie this week, and she's hula hooping away. And many of you asked last time I reviewed this couple why I didn't mention Stephanie's world-breaking hula hoop attempt. Guys, keep on asking. And so Stephanie has been calling Ryan rather a lot of times, in fact 14 times today. And she's really upset because Ryan seems to be ignoring her. I wonder what she has to tell him. Well, she lets us know that she's been trying to call him to let him know that the Belizean government have put back the opening for the border, so it's going to be several more weeks before she can go over to Belize to see her beloved. And she said, "Oh my God, it's so frustrating that he's not answering his phone." Stephanie, I have a tip for you. Call him once and text him once and then wait until the end of the working day for him to call you back. If he doesn't, take that tip, take that hint. He's not interested. And she calls him once more and finally he answers. And guys, I don't know if he actually decided to answer or if it's one of those ones, you know when you're about to call somebody else and you press something on your phone and then someone's on the other end and it's like, "Oh, hi, oh yeah, I was just about to call you back." And so she calls him, and before he can get one word out, Stephanie said, "Where have you been? I've given you 14 calls. Why haven't you been answering the phone?" And Ryan said, "Listen, I'm working loads of hours. I wake up, go to work all day, and then I go home. Whenever you call me, it's to bitch about something or other." And Stephanie said, "Do you know why I'm calling you?" Obviously he doesn't, Stephanie, but you're about to say. Maybe she's calling him to let him know that she slept with his cousin. Maybe she's calling him to let him know that 90-day fiancé message boards are awash with the fact that she's an idiot and a fool for sustaining him and the whole of his family. Maybe she's calling him to let him know that America have now run out of watches and she can't send any more. Maybe she's calling him to let him know that her friend Maria has decreed that he's a serpent from her tarot cards. No, she's not. She's calling to let him know that she can't see him for another few weeks because of the coronavirus. And she says, "Ryan, did you know that the border isn't going to open for a few more weeks?" And he says, "Nope." Ooh, oh dear, he doesn't sound too concerned. And Stephanie says, "You don't even sound bothered." Stephanie, that's possibly because he knows he can't do anything about it, even if he was worried. And Ryan counters with, "Stephanie, you cannot buy me with 10 watches, or 15 pairs of shoes, or loads of clothes. You seem to think that you can just buy me off." Perhaps she does, Ryan, but you don't have to take them all now, do you? If she's sending you watches and buying you clothes, you have at least intimated that you want them. You could have at least said, "No, don't waste your money. I've got a watch now. I don't need another 10. But it seems to me that you're gratefully receiving them all. Or in fact, should I say, ungratefully receiving them all. And Stephanie said, "I buy you these things because I know it makes you happy." And Ryan said, "No, I'm going to stop you there. What makes me happy is when I'm earning my own money, is when I'm going out to work, working really hard, and I'm doing something for myself." And then Stephanie once more tells producers, "Guess what? Ryan doesn't know that he's working really for me. He doesn't know that I'm paying him to work. He doesn't know that really there isn't a job at the high-end resort that he's working at, and it's all down to Queen Stephanie." Then Stephanie shows another side of her character. And she says, "Well, Ryan, you've been sitting idle for God knows how long. You've been sitting on your ass. I'm sending money every 3 days because you're asking me to. This relationship's becoming intolerable. We're fighting more and more." And Ryan said, "We're fighting because you have trust issues." Yes and no. She has trust issues, Ryan. Because when she looks into your phone, she discovers that you're messaging multiple other women. And then Ryan says something which I think is truly ominous and which really to me is an absolute deal breaker. He said, "Stephanie, you know what? I'll never change." And the whole time that Ryan's talking to her, he's kind of low-key sneering at her and showing her really the most contempt that I've ever seen. And Stephanie said, "I'm ready to throw the towel in. You need to really think about this if you want this relationship." And Ryan said, "I don't need to think about anything. I have one sweet plan." And Stephanie said, what's your sweet plan? To come over to America and screw loads of other women? Stephanie, pretty much, yeah. And Stephanie said, it's hard to trust you when I look and I can see that you're online at 2 a.m. and I'm thinking, who are you online to? And he said, I've got other friends. I've got friends that I'm talking to. And Stephanie said, well, what is your sweet plan? And Ryan said, listen, I don't need to come to America. And he said, yeah, it would be nice to come to America to see the other side of the world. It's not exactly the other side, but okay, whatevs. And Stephanie said, well, you haven't said one word about me. It doesn't seem that you want to come to America to see me. It seems like you just want to come to America. And Ryan said, I'm not desperate to come. If I come, I come. If I don't, well, so be it. I was born and bred in Belize and I'll die here if I need to. And Stephanie said, well, why aren't you worried about seeing me? And Ryan said, well, it's because you're a bit ding dong. And she said, oh, great. So you're saying I'm crazy now? Is that what you're saying? And he said, you're far beyond crazy. And Stephanie said, right, fair enough. If you don't want to come, I'll just call the embassy tomorrow. And Ryan said, do it. And Stephanie said, why are we even engaged? And then she said to producers, if we're going to end it, we need to end it in person. You really don't, Stephanie. You can just stop answering his calls. In fact, you don't even need to stop answering his calls. He doesn't call you anyway. So just stop calling him. And I think that will be story done. And then Stephanie continues to producers, we need to see each other. And if we don't see each other soon, I just don't think it's going to work out. Stephanie, whether you see each other or not, it's not going to work anyway. And that's where we end things this week for this couple. Well, 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 Stephanie, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions. I think the pervasive thought from what I've been seeing in my comments is that Ryan's somehow really out of order because he's got a bad attitude and he's obviously very off with Stephanie. For what it's worth, I think that he knows something happened with Harris, whether Harris outright told him or whether he just suspects something is off there. And I believe he knows. Tell me what you all think in comments. But yeah, I think he's in receipt of some knowledge. And that's why he's treating her as he is. And so most of what I'm going to say is why I think that Stephanie's out of order. So to start off with, I quite liked Stephanie as a person. I thought she seemed quite sweet and somewhat kind of a little bit innocent and a little bit duped. But the more and more I get to know her, I realise she's more conniving and controlling than I first gave her credit for. The first thing that she did wrong was to stalk him and call him 14 times. That is stalker behaviour. Obviously he's at work. You know you've got him a job. So when you're working in a hotel, I don't think you can just have your phone with you at all times and answer calls. And I think it's very likely that the more you called him, the angrier he became until it got to a point where he just thought, I'm just not calling her back because I'll actually blow up on her. I've had relationships before where the guy's slightly jealous and they always continually call you. And it's so irritating. It's unbelievable. So having said that, on the flip side, she has a right to be kind of jealous and suspicious of Ryan because he's cheated on her before. But you had to know that when you found the numbers and you found that he was talking to other girls last time you were in Belize, if you weren't just going to finish it and say, this is the end, you have to then go talk it out and trust him. There's no point not finishing it, but then also not trusting him as well. Just calling him loads of times doesn't mean he's not speaking to other women or not having affairs with other women. So if that's what you think, you're barking up the wrong tree. The second thing that she did wrong was to say you're so lazy. You were sitting on your ass for ages before you got this job. That's all you do, sit on your ass. I used to have to send you money every 3 days. Stephanie, if you think he's so worthless and so lazy, why are you trying to get together with somebody when you're such a hard worker that you believe to be intrinsically lazy? As he's pointed out, now he's got a job, even though he hasn't really got a job. He's working every day, 10, 12 hours a day. So he's obviously not as lazy as you thought. As soon as he found a job, he's at it. Maybe he just found it difficult to secure a job before. So continually reminding him that he was lazy and he did sit on his ass isn't the mark of somebody who wishes well for their partner. And then the next thing that she's done wrong is that she's trying to manipulate us, the viewer. So she always tells us how much she pays for his family, how much she sends to him. She sends him watches and shoes and clothes. She couldn't help but to get that all out again and again and again. And you're trying to create the narrative that I give him anything he wants to make him happy. He point blank told you, I don't want these things. I don't ask for these things. And she said, I know you don't ask, but I want to give them to you because I know you make them happy. You've insinuated before that he's begging you for these things and that you have to send them. Which is it? I think that you're trying to manipulate him with sending him these things and manipulate us into thinking badly of Ryan by telling us about it all the time. And to add to this, you've told the psychic Maria all of these things, and then you're all shocked and surprised when she says he's a snake and he has other women in his life and this isn't the right relationship. Of course she does, because you've painted him out to be awful. And the next thing that she's done wrong is the whole fake job scenario. The fact that you've got him a fake job is one thing. Maybe you did it to be helpful, or maybe you did it to make sure that he's working. But why are you telling us? Why are you telling your cousins? Why are you telling production and all of the fans and people on the TV before you tell him? It's like a form of belittling him. Obviously, at some point now you're going to have to tell him, but he's going to feel even worse when you tell him, because he'll know that everybody else knew before he knew, and we were all sort of sniggering and laughing about it. And in some ways, you're managing to kill this relationship before it's even begun, because you're showing how manipulative you can be, even when nobody's asked you to be. You're financially manipulating him with this job. And in a way, it was kind of low-key amusing, because I didn't like his attitude at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Ryan. I'm just saying everything that Stephanie's doing, which is counter to her nice girl persona. But the funny thing about the way that Ryan presented was that he was kind of very smug when he was saying, the thing that I like is when I'm working hard and I'm working for myself and I'm earning my own money. That whole time, Stephanie was low-key smirking back at him, thinking, you ain't earning anything, Ryan. I'm paying for you like I always was. And then the next thing is the way that she controls him with the phone. So if she's not stalking him and giving him 14 phone calls, she's then calling his mum and family members to find out, where is he? Have you heard from him? And she feels as if when he picks up the phone, she can say, why haven't you called me? Where have you been? And I think she only feels this level of control over him because she's paying for everything. And I think that's why he kind of felt he didn't need to call her back straight away, because he thought, I'm legitimately working my own job and earning my own money. I'm not beholden to her as much anymore. But of course she knows that that's not the case, and that's why she thinks, when I call, you jump to attention. You don't call me back in your own time. Oh no. Question for Stephanie. If you're busy all day at work and he calls you, do you feel the need to snap to attention and answer him straight away? I doubt you do. And then finally, we talked about Stephanie needing to control everything that's happening. So she has her own business and she controls everything that's happening in her life. And then she also has this relationship in which she needs the ultimate level of control. She wants somebody that's good looking and eye candy, I guess, but she wants somebody that she can manipulate, and she does that because she's so much richer than he is. And on top of this, the fact that she's gotten him this fake job gives her the ultimate control, because when he was sitting there saying, I've got a sweet plan, who knows what that plan is? But he's feeling very real at the moment because he thinks, I'm earning my own money. He's probably getting American dollars tips, which probably would translate to being very good money over there as well. And he thinks, yes, I'm doing really well for myself. She's in the ultimate control because she knows, if you fall out with me, if you cheat on me, if you do anything to me, your job will be gone in a heartbeat, because it's really not a job. So ultimately, she feels even in more control than he could ever imagine. She can pull the rug from under Ryan's life at the click of a finger, and that is where Stephanie feels happiest. So yeah, they're my Stephanie missteps. And I couldn't help but notice as well that when Ryan was saying, you're a little bit... she said, oh my God, now you're saying I'm crazy. And he said, you're way past that. Is that what you're saying? You're saying I'm crazy. Stephanie, you're not exactly normal. You've slept with his cousin. Is that normal? You ring his mum to find out where he is at the age of 54. Is that normal? You take your relationship advice from a tarot card reader who can't read tarot cards. Is that normal? You feed your cat luxury yogurt from a spoon. Is that normal? You're hoping to get into the Guinness Book of Records doing hula hooping. Is that normal? You're paying someone to do a job that doesn't need to be done. Is that normal? You're sitting on the phone speaking to somebody who clearly doesn't want to speak to you and who's treating you ultimately massively disrespectfully. And then you're still saying, what do you want? Do you want this relationship or not? That's not normal either, Stephanie. You are being a little bit crazy. Even the Ebird thinks that's not entirely normal. So guys, tell me what you think. Do you think Stephanie behaves normally? From what I've seen thus far, I really don't. And I know what we're shaping up for. Stephanie's going to go all Madam Butterfly on us. Yet you were warned. The courtiers warned you. Suzuki warned you. Everybody warned you. But I can see at the end of this relationship, she's going to come back with the tears. And what do we think about Ryan? Ryan's just a common garden grifter. She met him on the beach, which as far as I'm concerned is where many grifters tend to reside. He asks her for watches for all his friends and family. He lets her pay rent. He's clearly a grifter. He's clearly only in it for what he can get. And I would be mad at him, but it's so obvious and he's so upfront about it that, well, it's difficult for me to get upset about something which is this obvious. I'd be far more angry if he was saying, "You're perfect, I love you. You're the one that I want and I can't believe I've met somebody as amazing as you." He's not giving her all the sweet talk. He's more or less saying, "If you want me, come and get me. But I don't really care if I stay in Belize or if I come to America. I really don't care." From what I see, he's not exactly putting maximum amount of effort into duping you, Stephanie. You're allowing yourself to be duped. In fact, you're duping yourself. So guys, let me know what you think. Is there something to be said for the fact that Ryan is a grifter, but is a very upfront grifter? And do we think that Stephanie's trying to manipulate the narrative on TV to get everybody to feel sorry for her? I certainly do, and I kind of low-key see through it all. And most of you think that Ryan already knows about Stephanie and Harris. Ooh, I think it's likely, but it's not definite. Maybe Harris is trying a 1-2 because maybe Harris sees such a great gravy train that he maybe wants to take Stephanie off Ryan's hands. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, there isn't much love going on in this relationship. Stephanie wants somebody she can manipulate, and Ryan just wants the money and the good times. And once those good times turn bad, i.e. 14 phone calls in a day and a little bit of stalking, he's not interested. Stephanie, there's no point bothering with Ryan. He's the kind of guy you could ask for nothing and he still wouldn't have it. So guys, let me know what you think in comments down below, and I'll be back very soon with another video. Thank you so much for listening, and if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel. Make Ebird a happy Ebird, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.